In that era, during the Depression, you grew everything in your own backyard. Well, in 1940, I was in high school in Frederick Douglass High School of Upper Marlboro, Maryland, and the war started in 1941. The day that Franklin D. Roosevelt, President Roosevelt, declared war, that the entire school was called into an assembly to hear the declaration of war by the president.
45, the war ended. We were glad, of course, and like everybody else, that the war was over. And we didn't have to worry anymore about our relatives being in the war.
Maybe about 3 months before graduation, they come to the school to recruit for Bowie State. I said, I'm not going to Bowie. She said, well, where do you want to go? I said, I want to go to Morgan. And that's when I found out it was at Baltimore. And now I really want to go. I'm a country girl. I want to get to the city.
My mother looked up Morgan, and we said, that's the place for me. And when I got there, I loved it.
The very first day, I was so surprised. I saw that Montebello entrance. That's the entrance I came in off of 33rd Street. And I saw all that water, and I thought that was the campus. When she turned up to Baldwin Hall, and I saw all that greenery out there, I was in heaven. I was in heaven to be on that campus.
Morgan at that time only had the one dormitory for women. So I stayed in Morgan Park for half a semester. I just felt at home. It had that kind of atmosphere.
The most fascinating memories that I have of that first week was the Promethean procession. That Promethean procession took place for all freshmen. And we marched at twilight with candles from the Christian Center over to Baldwin Hall. It was sacred to me. That was my introduction to college life.
I remember they were very strict on our movements. We couldn't go off the campus without permission, written permission from our parents.
And at 6 o'clock, the only place you could go on that campus was to the library.
We had to study quite hard, and we spent most of our time in the library, working, and in the dorm. When
the veterans came back in February of '46, see, they came back with automobiles, and so you could, blow for the girls or whistle for the girls. And you were not to be hanging out of those windows answering anybody.
We had dances every Friday, and I loved to dance because we weren't allowed to dance at home.
You could have the dances, but you had to be out by 10 or 12 because at 12 o'clock it was Sunday. And upstairs, you had to be back there by 10 o'clock the next morning for service.
People were still treated like they were before the war. A group of us, I guess it was about 6 or 7 of us, decided to go to the movies. And when we got to the window, they told us we couldn't go in. So I went to the window and I spoke French because I had French in high school. So I spoke French to her. So she decided, oh, she's a foreigner, so she can go in. Yes, and so when I told her, I said, in French, I told her that no, I'd stay with my group. We all laughed when we got away from there because that was crazy. the fellows in sports weren't allowed to go to the white schools. So we had the best football players come to Morgan. A group of us would go horseback riding. So when I got to Morgan, they asked me to ride the horse during the homecoming parade. It was during my senior year.
Coach Hill and Coach Hurt. Coach Hurt was so small and so powerful. He didn't have to speak. He didn't raise his voice ever. But those words carried so much wisdom, carried so much power. These individuals took a special pride. How they all came in, Dr. Smith, Dr. Wormley, Dr. Bradley, Dr. Jones, Dr. F.T. Payne, all of those came at the same time. They were young too. There was new life. When Dr. Jenkins came on board, we already knew he had a plan. His office was always open. You could walk up in his office at any time. Martin Jenkins, I found out later, had gone to the legislature in Annapolis long before we had even thought about it. The March on Annapolis was for housing, dormitories, a gymnasium, and for the curriculum. He was aiming for this university status. It was a peaceful movement that brought about the beginning of that university. Really, my relationship at Morgan brought me with so many individuals that were not just merely acquaintances.
The girls were so friendly, and I just felt like my friends at home, they were like friends in school.
I always said they were my Morgan friends, because those that I called upon have never disappointed me.
They're all gone, and I'm still here, and I miss them.
These individuals made you feel that you're not lost, you're going to make it. And that whenever you felt down, they always had something to encourage you.
And that's the kind of life that an HBCU gives, friends for life.
It's the real, and I think Morgan has aimed through all of the years to bring about the reality of education, the reality of interaction and global expansion, and understanding that will bring about even that we will be some of the leaders who will be sitting down to bring peace to this world. I really do. I think you get it right there. The seed is right there on the campus.